Woohoo! Level 45! Come on, Tally, we're going great!
Evie, stop. I can't go on any further. This stopped being fun like 5 levels ago. It sucks. I'm buying a boost.
Tally, no! That is not what Classic is all about.
Okay, fine. I'm paying a mage to run me through dungeons then.
Come on, Tally. Haven't you enjoyed the immersive world?
Yes.
And the sense of achievement?
Yes.
Well, think how good you'll feel when we hit 60 and time to go through the dark portal. Think of how proud you'll be, how fulfilled, how superior.
I do like feeling superior. Okay, Evie, you're right. Let's do this properly. Where to next?
Tanaris.
No, actually, you know what? You go ahead, Evie. I'll meet you at the dark portal, yeah?
Knowledge is power.
Hello, Internet! Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset, Taliesin and Evitel's wondrous wisdom show in a week where we have Shadowlands drama with some controversial changes and classic celebration, because it's classic TBC time, everyone! Obviously, everyone is super hyped and excited about that, which is awesome, but which wasn't universally the case last week, when my shitshows folder runneth over with no less than 4 different subfolders full of thoughtful and in-depth discussion. But that was last week, and you may have noticed we didn't manage a show last week. So unfortunately, all of these glorious forum comments will never see the light of day, because what am I supposed to do? Just reel off a bunch of last week's unused shitshow comments for you this week, just because it would admittedly be very funny? Yeah, nice try, Internet, but I'm a serious news dude. Have you seen my tie? Okay, fine. There was very long maintenance for the pre-patch, and that was a shitshow, obviously. And you fished it up. Congrats. Push till midnight, way to fish and go, only like you've been doing this for over a decade. Turns out Blizzard were the ones who were not prepared. So it's 11:21 PM EDT. Where are the damn servers, Blizzard? My damn ice cream melted, my pizza has been eaten, and I'm on my last bottle of soda. Why are the servers down longer than an actual work day? And the worst part is no one's going to reimburse me for any of these buys. Yes, will someone please reimburse this poor man for the pizza that he has eaten? It's only fair, right? Boosted players noticed that they received a bunch of 12 slot bags instead of the previously advertised 14. That was a shit show, obviously. 12 slot bag is unacceptable. It was advertised as 14 slot bags, false advertising, bait and switch. This blatant bait and switch surprises even me coming from Blizzard. Not only do they sell overpriced services, they even scam you. It seems Blizzard were not prepared for the backlash on this, which is fair enough, really. I agree with these complaints. I like big bags, and I cannot lie. When the pre-patch went live, it was discovered that cross-realm chat, grouping, and instances were possible, which they shouldn't have been. That was not very #no changes of you, Blizzard. And Blizzard fixed that, and that was a shit show, obviously. Fun detected, destroy! No fun allowed. Well, this is killing my interest in TBC Classic quickly. When it comes to fixing their bugs, Blizzard were not prepared. But like I say, that was then, this is now. And truly, everyone is very hyped about Burning Crusade Classic, and none more so than me. And I know you probably don't really think of me as a classic guy, and that is totally fair enough, because really, I'm not. I'm always going to be more excited about new stuff in the game than old stuff. I'm just that kind of person. But the thing I really love about Classic is, I'm a total casual. Because obviously, in retail, I'm not. I'm logged into that game for most hours of the waking day, and for the last 4 years, talking about it has been my literal living. This backdrop isn't a green screen, fam. I paid someone to print it out and stick it on my wall for this show. Classic, though. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to do everything. I can just take everything in my own time and enjoy it for what it is. And that feels great. I do still enjoy keeping up with all the news and opinions and stuff on it, but because my focus and real interest is always going to be on Shadowlands, there's just something really relaxing about Classic for me. Honestly, I can't even see myself hitting 70 before like August, and I'm going to love every minute of that. I'm totally buying a boost though, sorry. And so to the main Shadowlands news of the week, of which there is a surprising amount, to be honest, because despite the fact that we are now famously at the back end of the longest opening patch in World of Warcraft expansion history with no official end in sight, it's actually kind of all go right now in many ways. For a start, this weekend saw the Great Push, the new MDI format that has teams push 6 prescribed plus 24 keys to as high a level as possible over the course of 15 hours over 3 days. A competition which, apart from its obviously terrible name that makes it sound like someone's having a struggle poo, is, I am happy to announce, an absolute banger, and I am completely hooked. For me, it's a lot more relatable as a player to see teams working to push keys as high as they can, rather than just like a flat-out head-to-head race. And I don't envy any of them the decisions that they have to make as to which keys to try and push, and how high, and how long to spend on a dungeon that isn't working out for them. It's been really enjoyable, and I'd recommend spending a few hours catching up with the VODs if you get a chance. Unfortunately, I'm writing this script on Sunday, so I don't actually know who's won. At the end of day 2, it was painfully close, but Echo have managed a really clean 27 Halls of Atonement, which has to make them favourites as things stand. I think Echo are definitely gonna win. I can't wait for the comments in this video. I would absolutely count the tournament as a success. I love that it's back on Twitch as well as YouTube, and I can't wait to see more. Yes, that's right, I am indeed very excited for the Great Push number 2. Another competition that will surely feature teams in the absolute highest fibre, capable of dropping the absolute biggest logs for DPS and healing, and who will surge to victory despite, or maybe because of, lots and lots of wiping. It really is my kind of tournament. But of course, most of the excitement around Shadowlands at the moment is centred around the PTR, where 9.1 is taking the kind of shape that's making people think, you know, maybe this patch isn't all that far out. The new area, Korthia in particular, is really starting to look like the real deal in the last couple of weeks. After having got a ton of criticism at the start of the PTR for being empty and aimless and unpopulated and kind of like you'd expect something to be at the beginning of a PTR, recently we've seen huge additions which are much more the kind of thing that we were hoping for. New dailies and mini events and rares and world bosses that just make running around the place a whole lot more interesting, but also the intriguingly branching collectathon of relics and catalogue research and just general exploration and fun stuff, and that's without even mentioning the benthic style catch-up gear that's on offer too. Basically, playing through Korthia has been a real delight these last couple of weeks, and that's not just Shilly Taliesin being a total shill here. The general consensus of opinion appears to agree with me. There's Tazavesh, the new mythic mega dungeon, which has been playable for a while now. Another absolute delight, to be honest. It looks like Court of Stars, which is a really good start, and it's got a ton of really interesting bosses, which are as stupid and unusual as you would expect. That's going to be a lot of fun, especially when it gets added as 2 new Mythic Plus dungeons in 9.2. There's the fact that raid testing is at a really advanced stage, with loads of new bosses being put to players every week, including this week, Sylvanas, which means we have now seen the final phase of that fight on Heroic. The Covenant story quests are all in place, apart from that final chapter, which may be set after the events of the raid, which may be why Blizz haven't let us see it yet, but that's just speculation. Basically, in terms of content that needs to be made, this patch is pretty much ready to go. There's just the work of balancing and tuning all of those numbers for the new class changes and legendaries and PvP talents and raid gem socket sets and new Mythic Plus rating system. Oh, what's that? You don't know about the new Mythic Plus rating system? Okay, well, it's basically Raider.io, but baked into the game, so that from 9.1 onwards, every character will have a visible Mythic Plus score for the season based on the keys that they've done, and at what level, and at what times, and with what affixes. Now, I have a very privileged position as a player in that if I'm going to do any Mythic Plus, I'm either going to do it with my guild, or, especially as the patch goes on stream with viewers, which means I'm always going to have a group. I never have to pug if I don't want to, and so I have the luxury of not even knowing what my Raider.io score even is. Like, I've got Keystone Master, so I'm guessing it's probably like 8 or something, like maybe 9. I think it's pretty average is what I'm saying. My point is that even as someone who never has to give a second thought to Raider.io, I think having a standard in-game system that basically does the same thing is overall a good idea. Like, even for casual players. Remember that first time that you ever installed a DPS meter and you realised exactly how much better everyone else's DPS was than yours, but it didn't make you quit the game, it made you realise how much more you could actually do to get better, and now, as a result, you enjoy the game much more, and on a much deeper level than you did back then? What I'm saying is, having a number that can be improved isn't always an elitist thing that harms lower level players. I guess we'll have to see, but that's definitely my gut feeling when it comes to Mythic Plus score. Overall, a really nice addition, and the framework for that system is in place on the PTR right now. the numbers that decide what your score is have changed a couple of times, and significantly I think, Blizzard haven't ever had a blue post or a PTR patch notes yet where they've been like, okay guys, here's the new Mythic Plus system, feedback time. Now of course, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't still be paying attention and supplying feedback anyway. It's just some context on where in the process of implementing this system we are. Which is why Wowhead's recent article on the current PTR state of the Mythic Plus rating system really caught the eye. Because, as you know, we say it on this channel all the time, Wowhead are absolutely, in our opinion, the best World of Warcraft resource on the internet. Even better than these videos, if you can believe it. Their data mining is always the first and the best curated. The work that goes into that site is titanic. Basically, most WoW content creation on YouTube and Twitch would cease to exist if Peculiar decided to take a 2-week vacation. Please, Peculiar, I beg you, never take a 2-week vacation. You can have the afternoon, okay? But be back, be back. As usual, in this video, there are links in the description below to a whole host of their articles, which go into much more detail about stuff that we talk about in this episode. So Wowhead are absolutely just doing their usual excellent job in keeping everyone up to speed here and reporting what they've noticed about how Mythic Plus rating works so far. And the way it works so far is that Keystone Master, the achievement that you get by timing all 8 dungeons on a plus 15 key or higher, in Season 2 will be awarded by hitting a Mythic Plus rating of 2000. And importantly, currently, if you were to simply time every dungeon at plus 15 right now, you wouldn't get a Mythic Plus rating of 2000. Because your score isn't just decided by the key, but by the affixes, with Fortified and Tyrannical, the 2 affixes that everyone agrees they absolutely hate and would happily remove from the game, being the highest points awarders. And again, to simplify as much as possible here, if you were just timing each key in Shadowlands at plus 15, that currently means you'd have to time each dungeon on Tyrannical and Fortified, and since those 2 affixes never occur at the same time, that means timing every key twice. Now, obviously that's just a headline, and there is a lot more to this system than that. As well, people knew on the forums, where most players were keen to know the exact details and whether there were any advantages to such a scoring system, or whether it could be mitigated with no, it was a shit show, obviously. Excuse me? Completely disgusting. I don't think there is a single person who doesn't think this is the worst fishing idea they've had yet. Yeah, it's so insane, it's a joke. They are going all out to fish over their players, it's sickening. What a load of absolute trash, Blizzard. If you're gonna screw us raw this way, at least give us some lube. So here's the thing. I'm certain these rankings and the way the numbers work will change. I think anyone who has actually looked at what is going on here thinks that too. It's PTR, that's what the PTR is for. I'd expect some kind of blue post on this system in the next week or so, to be honest. In the meantime though, what is the thinking behind adding this kind of scoring system to the Keystone Master achievement in the first place? Well, whether you agree with it or not, it's not hard to see what Blizz are going for here. They clearly want to add some kind of flexibility to Keystone Master, and at the same time, encourage players to not sit out on non-push weeks. Because, yeah, it certainly looks like they basically want to nudge you into doing Tyrannical and Fortified. And if you are currently just doing 15s, then currently you will need 1 of each for each key. Currently, to get a rating of 2000 by only doing each dungeon once, those keys would need to be plus 24s. But if, for example, you do a plus 18 Fortified, you'd only need that dungeon again on plus 12 Tyrannical to get the score that you need. And it's that kind of choice and open-endedness that the devs are clearly aiming for. Now, personally, I'd agree with most of the voices that the numbers definitely seem off right now. It's currently more work for players whichever way you slice it, and I would like to see the weightings be a lot more forgiving, but I'm not opposed to the idea per se, and I'm willing to wait until Blizzard actually say something official about it for now. Now, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's basically just numbers stuff left to go now on the PTR, which means, honestly, with TBC having clearly been rushed through the door to make room for it, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Chains of Domination release as early July, which, yeah, I actually feel a bit stupid even using the word early there, to be honest, since, I don't know if I've ever really mentioned this, but 9.0 is officially the longest opening patch in World of Warcraft expansion history, so soon, it could be as soon as early July, and I would take that as a win at this stage. So that's great, as is all of the excellent new stuff on the PTR, and Korthia especially, but I have to admit, it's because of the fact that Korthia is totally genuinely good now that it's got me thinking about something that, until now, I barely even entertained as a realistic notion. Will there be a patch 9.3? Now, before, even with all of the delays, I would have said absolutely, categorically, yes. And that's because 9.1, even though it is pretty big for a 0.1 patch, it still felt like a 0.1 patch. Korthia was very much referred to as a new area, not a new zone like the Broken Shore or Nazjatar, and there really wasn't much to it either, which further discouraged comparison. But now, every week, Korthia does more and more resemble a 0.2 patch zone. And this is obviously good. The more fun things that we have to do in the game, the better. Korthia right now is a single player delight, and I am not complaining. Just like I'm not complaining about this expansion's Mythic Mega Dungeon arriving a patch earlier than it did in BFA. Just like I'm not complaining about a storyline and a raid where the action and narrative certainly appears to be reaching a major climax in 9.1. The kind of climax which suggests that the setting of the preceding patch will be incredibly different from what we've seen so far, as in, you know, going to Argus, or everything is tentacles now different. And the more Chains of Domination takes shape, the more it looks to me like a 0.2 patch getting ready to set up the final patch of an expansion. And don't forget, with all things being equal, without the Blood Plague and the delays it has caused, we would be expecting a new expansion reveal in 5 months' time at BlizzCon. And yeah, BlizzCon itself has been cancelled, sure, but I used to just think, they'll probably just delay the new expansion reveal and launch along with everything else. Now, I'm not so sure. What if they intend to keep to something like the usual 2-year expansion cycle? What if Shadowlands is not having huge sways completely left out like WoD, but more condensed into one less patch and therefore a shorter time frame? I didn't believe that until Korthia got so good, but now, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. At this stage, if I had to make a cash money bet, which I wouldn't because, you know, terms of service, I would probably bet on 9.2 when that arrives being the big climactic patch of Shadowlands. And to be clear, I think it would be essentially what would have been planned for 9.3. I don't think we'd really be missing any content. I think it's more a case that most of what we would have got in 9.2 has been absorbed into 9.1. So not a disaster or a tragedy, not ideal for sure, but that's definitely the feeling I'm getting right now. I'll say it again, right now, I don't think there's going to be a patch 9.3. I'd love to hear what you think. Oh, and here we are. We've made it to another sofa section where here we are sitting on the sofa.
On the sofa.
It's so comfy here on this sofa.
I love
could you just
sofa.
squidge along the sofa a little bit so I have more room on the sofa?
Ooh.
We have been away from the weekly reset for a couple of weeks. We have been putting other videos out and streaming, of course. But we're back and it feels really good.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't feel really good, Evitel, because of the bad news concerning BlizzCon.
Yeah. I mean, we all saw it coming, didn't we?
Well, apparently not, no.
Really?
Yeah, well, some of the reactions are a little bit
know.
one of the criticisms I've seen of it is that it's like a profit engineering move from Blizzard, because like BlizzCon costs them money, right? So they've cut BlizzCon so that they can show their shareholders that they've saved some money.
Oh my god, guys, come
it's
on,
Bobby
please.
Kotick's fault, guys. Don't forget, it's
Please.
nothing to do with the very obvious reasons why you might want to cancel an event for 40,000 people all in one place. Also, ignore the fact that Blizzard share prices actually go up massively after every BlizzCon. It's something they literally count on in their shareholder meetings. Like, ignore all that. But like, it is sad that it's not happening from like a person point of view, right?
I mean, I saw it coming, but yeah, was I sad? Did I go, no? Yeah, of course I did.
So if you're one of those people that we often bump into at BlizzCon, then know that we're thinking of you, fam.
Yeah, miss you guys.
Yeah, totally. The Gregories, if you want to buy us a steak and just have it sent over instead of having to take us out for a meal, that would be really nice. Like, I mean, we'd appreciate that. Trying to get those BlizzCon feels is what I'm saying.
I'm okay with this setup.
Actually, this could all work out really well.
There are, of course, going to be some in-person events next year, apparently, in 2022.
Well, like smaller scale things. Well, how do you see that happening? Like, I see it as kind of like maybe sort of, you know, when they have like a PR push for a new expansion or something. So there'll be like a little event maybe in Germany, a little event in California, maybe one in New York, maybe one in London if we're super lucky.
Who knows?
Dude, I know some awesome hosts with BlizzCon experience.
Right.
Who might be right up the alley for the London one.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Don't try and make us go to Germany though. Actually do. It would be awesome.
Please send us anywhere.
Anyway, a busy week ahead because of Burning Crusade Classic going live. Hopefully more PTR stuff. Hopefully, once Burning Crusade has gone live, I wouldn't be surprised if there's only a very short amount of time before some kind of announcement about a Chains of Domination release date. I think it's kind of creeping up now, and I wouldn't be surprised once TBC is out the gate and it's settled. So this week or next week, maybe, hopefully, as like a best case scenario, it could well be the case that we're getting an announcement. That's something I'm hoping for. But we had a busy week this week as well, where we were on the third faction podcast with Demetanov, and it was supposed to be Bricko as well.
Yeah.
But Bricko couldn't get there because, well, he says his internet shut down. But,
so we hear.
Yeah, clearly he was just sleeping or partying or playing Final Fantasy 14 or something.
That was really fun. You can check out the recording of that.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that in the description. Yeah. Why not? We don't have enough links in our description.
No, we don't.
So we should definitely
Never
just do that.
enough links.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, don't thank us. Thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to make all of our dreams come true. And guys, thank you, because without you, there would be a whole lot less Taliesin and Evitel. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Bricko.
Oh.
No, my name is Taliesin from me.
And me, Evitel.
And Nyrin as well. Until next time, cheerio.